90% participation level. That's freaking awesome for just turning the damn thing on. Good morning, everybody. Looks like everything is on. Make sure that you check in and say hi. I will check the chat momentarily. We'll go over a few things, and then we shall get started. I'm going to click on that one. That one looks good right there. Let's see. Yeah. Alan says, Light Raider, try scrolling to the top of the chat. The question is how. Alan says, Light Raider, try scrolling to the top of the chat. I shut the volume off on the other machine and it still came on. I shut the volume off on the other machine and it still came on. One day, I promise I'll get it right. Let's see here. All right, so it looks like Heavenly Hope, number 1, you were first. And good morning, West Virginia Pappy. Number 2, Tina, you are the third. And thank you for following me over there on the Clapper, checking out on the YouTubes. Looks like you guys are doing stuff over there. And I can't see, whenever I do the pop-out chat, I can't see who the first one was. But I want to say it was like Brandon or something like that. Let's see. We got Brian Smith. We got JB, Tefel, Dog and Ball, Ian, Tina. Tina's omnipresent. Cool coat. We got Alan. Oh, Canada. Let's see here. Light Raider showed up. Eagle Lover, Texas. We're at Hicktown. Catitude showed up. Good morning. And Bob Peta. Good morning, guys. Good to see you guys. Thank you for popping in and hanging out with me this morning. Let's see here. I need to fire something up that I did not have time to turn on. So if you give me just a second here, we will get that fired up for you. Oh, it came on already. All right, let's see here. In the dumb news, let's go ahead and knock the dumb news out since we do have enough people in here. In the dumb news, the FBI dug up 2 horse farms in New York looking for bodies buried by the Gambino crime family. Okay, good. Newly appointed UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron visited the place of cranes to pledge support for however long it takes, whatever. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is expected to win a second term. Okay, good. New York attorney, whatever the really dumb woman, has sued Pepsi over plastic population. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You can't make this stuff up. Let's see here. Researchers say that low sperm count could be associated with pesticide exposure. Let's spend $1 billion studying this to see if it's right or not. U.S. Congress has passed a spending bill to delay a government shutdown through at least 2024. The president is expected to sign it. Oh, it's been an early morning, first yawn of the day. Okay, so these things are all true, factual, and to the point. You gotta love it, guys. You gotta love it. Blaine, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and roll off of the. We're gonna go ahead and roll off of the chat for right now. So yesterday I was doing some research, trying to figure out what today's channel was going to be about. Poke that like button. There you go. Poke it. Smash that like button. You should all have like cracks in your screens. Southern Tier Prepper, good morning, my friend. Good morning. Okay, so I was doing research on what today's show is going to be about, and I always try to make it prepper related. Okay, and the reason I do is because this is a prepper channel, but it always tends to deviate into something that is more newsworthy, which is why I've been calling it the Prepper News lately. If you guys can come up with a better title, put it in the chat someplace. Maybe I'll try that, And don't be giving me it's something Thursday or something like that, because I'm not going to change the title every single day of the week. I have been making new thumbnails, which I hope people like. If you like the new thumbnails, put a 1 in the chat for me right now. So I came across this article, and then I found a couple of videos on it, and I was very, very scared. Has it not started yet? What the hell do you mean, Bradley? You were the first one here. Hit the reset button, my friend. Let's see here. Let's see, tracker. Oh, I don't care. Some stupid stuff that's happening on my phone. JB popped in. He's omnipresent on the old clapper side. Appreciate it, bro. It basically there's a woman. Okay, and honestly I can't. It doesn't go to my credibility to not remember her name, but I listened to her for a good half an hour yesterday, and then did some research, and she's 100% factual. You know, she grew up as a child in China and escaped it under what's up with batshit crazy. And she escaped under Chairman Mao. If you guys don't know about Maoism, Mao was he was the one that killed off most of the Chinese population through starvation, through ridiculously stupid decisions that ended with starvation and death of millions of Chinese. So they call what he did Maoism instead of Marxism. All right. So I want to talk to you guys about some points. And when we talk about this, I want you to think about the things that are happening today, the things that are mine did as well just before it started, Bradley. I don't. YouTube doesn't like some people. It doesn't like some people, and I don't know why. If you did it or if I did it, but it does not like some people. So, matter of fact, let's just go ahead and knock it out. Make sure you're subscribed, guys. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee because we'll be doing a little bit of talking today. Hopefully I can stretch this into an hour. I'm gonna go for it. I'm definitely gonna try. While I'm waiting for you guys to hit the reset button on your phones to make sure that everything is working, or to make sure that you are subscribed. What's up, Rick? Good to see you, bro. I'm gonna tell you something. And I don't remember what the hell it was, so I'm gonna sip some coffee. All right, I remember now. You know, I support other YouTubers, large or small. If I believe in what they're doing and I think that they're not full of crap, I will support them. You've got my newest one. He's trying to build his channel up. That is I think it's Suburban CR2 or something like that. He was in the chat yesterday, so I don't know if he's here or not today. If you are, make sure you say hi, guy. I'd love to see you again. I'm actually going to be getting interviewed for his on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. for his show. I don't know when it'll air. I'll let you guys know when I know something. But also the Survivalist Prepper. I like Dale. Dale is he's got his shit together, so I support him regardless. And I will just chime in, give him the numbers, give him conversation pieces, talk to him while he's doing things, just to make sure he knows that we're out here and we're watching and we're supporting what people are doing, doctor's appointment 9:15, go. So I popped in a couple times, and he was talking about he had what I believe is his wife. It was on with him last night. What's up, Storage Prepping? Good to see you, bro. Thanks for the thumbs up, man. She's the medical guru. I don't know her background yet. I've never met her before or spoken with her before, but she seems very intelligent on this. And they ended up talking about antibiotics. Now, I'm not going to bore you with it, but the bottom line is that I did a video on antibiotics a year ago. It didn't gain a lot of traction because it was more kind of a sales presentation than anything else, but it was loaded with information. I'm going to be redoing that video with a little bit added information. That should come out today, I hope, as long as I have time to do it. But I recommend everybody takes a good hard look at it. If you guys do not own at least one antibiotic pack, the Jace case, where's my clapper, guys? If you guys do not own at least one Jace case inside your household, I recommend that you do it. We had a conversation this morning, a big conversation this morning within the Patreon about firearms and their cost. And I wish I had one, but they're so expensive. And, so basically I just had to whip out the firearm and say, no, they're not that expensive. You can buy other ones that are even less expensive than the one I have. But back to the Jace case. and antibiotics. And it's like, oh, and he started saying things that he thought were true, but weren't. And so in the video that I made a year ago, that video covers everything, like how long they last, who did the studies, who actually is doing all these things. You know what I'm saying? Why they're give you expiration dates on your medicines as well as antibiotics, and it's all a fallacy. It's all bullshit. It's all completely designed. It's like the best use before buy date. Now, there are some medications that you must replace, but they're few and far between. And the video actually covers that. So I'll be working on that video today for you guys. Hopefully I'll get it posted today, but I just wanted to let you guys know. Let's see, traumatic emergency response. I'm stoked. If I've got a class in the spring. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Thanks. Nick Roberts, money. They're about $300. But got mine from Mexico. That is one way to do it. That is definitely one way to do it. And I do not advocate I only advocate for the Jace case because they give you more medicine than they do case. All the other companies are making these fancy cases. Like one company makes like hard cases. It's like hard cases for pill containers. I mean, come on, man. You can put them in a Ziploc bag and they'll survive forever. I don't need your hard case and charging this money that's ridiculous. Jace gives you the most medicine for the value. And that's where I'm going to leave that because then it's going to turn into a sales pitch if I go any further. But it's about $300 for a Jace case. Anywho, let's get back on point. I just want to let you guys know that video is going to be coming out. Clapper guys, I owe you guys some videos. I only come on here and I only do lives on Clapper. And I keep telling myself I need to do more videos on Clapper. Why? Because I know there's a following over there and I feel like I owe you the video. So I'm going to start doing more videos on Clapper, just FYI. All right, admin stuff done. Guys, just like the thumbnail said, today's wokeism is yesterday's Maoism. Maoism, he was a Marxist, or a Mao, General Mao. He was a Marxist. He killed millions of people in China because he decided that he wanted things to be a certain way. And when things got crazy, he just let them get crazier. So some of the key points, okay, of Maoism. And let's go ahead and let's see if you guys can connect the dots here. So the first thing that he used was identity politics. Gee, do we have that these days? I don't know. We've got the black vote, the white vote. We've got the left versus the right. We have the support the Jews, support Palestine, this identity politics that helps to divide our nation. The second thing that he did was something that we know very well. It's called cancel culture. And we're actually going to talk about the four olds, as they're called. Cancel culture was very real. It really gained a lot of traction in the last 2 years. And people have kind of like, here in America, are pretty much like, you just go away with that. We're really kind of tired of it. It's something that the left is still trying to do. They try to use it. It's a weapon, okay? It shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. No one has the right to stunt your speech, okay? The alphabet culture. Yeah, I got you, long war against zombies, which boots you guys. Okay, I just had a really, what appears to be a ridiculous question. So I'm going to go ahead and stop and deal with this real quick. Hi, funny question. If we're going to go to a year-long war against zombies, which boots would you buy? The ones that are comfortable and durable. There you go. All right, so getting back on point, the next thing was the weaponization of young people. This is something that he actually did. He used, I've got a story behind it. Brand name. I don't support any specific brand name for boots. I'm sorry. Let's see. And he used the young people as weapons. And what it comes down to is, if you think about all of the things that are being done and said, where are our young people? They're in our higher educations, the places of higher education where these kids are being indoctrinated. A very wise man once told me, never trust anything that someone under the age of 30 says. And there's a reason for that. Well, first of all, we actually don't finish puberty until we're like 26 years old, if you didn't know that medically. But psychologically, the brains of human beings have not realized that what they say really doesn't matter. And that, what's up, Bird Lady? Good to see you. Um, and their brains just aren't developed enough. It's not that they're stupid. It's not that they're unintelligent. It's just that they're still not seeing enough of the world to know that the world doesn't care about what they think, and so they like to run their lips and spout off and pretend that what they think is the truth instead of realizing that what some people that were wiser already know the truth, and you just can't change it because you feel a certain way. Let's see here. And obviously the next thing that tool that they used was indoctrination in school. We're seeing this already. We have already come to the point where, um, and shame on the people that didn't pay attention to what the hell was happening to their kids in school. Shame on you. Shame on you. And I can say that from a position of strength because I was part of my kids when I was in the country. My wife or wives knew how I felt, and they were to defend their children, and they were to make sure that the kids were not being taught stupid things and to tell the teachers to stop. And luckily enough, that happened very, very rarely in the schools that my kids came up in. But, there's been many a times where I've told a teacher, don't ever say that to my child again. I will have you fired. You will be done. And they stop because these kind of people in the time when my kids were in school knew that they could lose their jobs. They could be blackballed from teaching. They could lose their teaching certificates in a state if a parent said something. But apparently over the last 10, 15 years, they've grown a set of balls and they're not scared of people and they will say and do whatever they want to do until a parent gets involved. And unfortunately, the school boards are now, almost all of them, completely, basically indoctrination, the protectors of the indoctrinated. Um, it is what it is. It's West Virginia Pappy just said maturity brings wisdom, and now they are rewarded. Absolutely. My kids, my kids run the gamut, guys. If you don't know me, I have 6 kids. All right. I have 4 boys and 2 girls. I have one, my oldest, he's a felon. Okay. And he's a felon. He's a druggie. There was nothing I could do. He just spun out of control. Let's see. My second oldest served in the military. He runs his own business. He's got his own ranch. Let's see. My third oldest was in the military. He was actually in the Marines. But he's a problem child. He always has been. And then I'm sorry, that was my youngest. And then my third oldest, he works in textiles in the mountains of North Carolina. He's self-made. And then my daughters, they one married well, and then that didn't work out. But in the end, she became her own business owner. And then my youngest daughter is the traditional housewife and loves her life. So these people that you went and you fought for in the schools to make sure that they were not indoctrinated will become functional citizens that will help and do the right thing into the future. And for those people that have ignored these situations, this is how Maoism started. And I'm going to tell you a story about Maoism that will probably sicken you. It will probably sicken you. Okay, so I'm going to go check the chat real quick, but while I'm doing that, do me a favor. If you guys have not hit that like and subscribe button, now is the time to do it. I see there are 29 people watching. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button because it does, and obviously the like button, because it brings more people in. It's good for the channel, and it's good for you because you'll get notified when I turn my camera on. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to check the chat. Let's see what we got here. Kentucky Goatman showed up. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Because their bosses were just as woke. Absolutely true. social media has ruined the younger generation. It has to an extent. It has to an extent, Bird Lady. But has it because we've allowed it to? That's a hard question. I think it's really difficult. I am no saint. If you guys know anything about me, I am no saint. But I also think that it's kind of funny that the same people that would blame social media on something are could very well be the same people that let their kids spend way too much time on their phones, and it's addictive. It's addictive. My girlfriend, she, we when we go out in the morning and we come back, she gets cleaned up, and then she spends the next 30 minutes playing on her phone instead of it's sitting next to me, because now we're spending time together, right? And if you're watching this, girl, I still love you, but you know what I'm talking about. In the evenings, I watch TV and she plays on her phone. It's like, what is the screen time? How has her life been so focused on this little bitty, 3x5 piece of silicone? How did that change our lives so much? We have to ask ourselves some hard questions on it, because it's very simple. It's very difficult to get sucked in by those things. Okay, so to go back to wokeism and the tools that he used, was identity politics, cancel culture, weaponization of young people, and the indoctrination in the schools. Okay, so now what Mao did was he broke society into classes. Okay, and hopefully I haven't got all my slides completely mixed up here, but I will move forward if I can. Excuse me. All right, so he broke people into classes. Now, the classes that he used were the red class and the black class. Now, Orwellians, 1984. Yeah, very true. It's very true, Alan. But Mao did it. Mao destroyed the country in an effort to create a world that fell into the Marxist view. And the Marxist view, you're going to hear me say it again, the Marxist view presents to young people a beautiful world, a simplistic, beautiful world, so that they don't have to do anything but the basics, but they don't understand that they're turned into slaves. Now, like I said, Mao used class to divide people, and he created two classes. He had the red class and he had the black class. And one of those was the enemy of the state, and the other was the supporter of the state. So if you think about it here in America, you have your conservatives that want small government. And then you've got your people who wear blue ties, and they want the government to be in everything. So one group supports the government, the other does not. It's pretty simple if you think about it. Now, what woke culture does is it uses three major categories that Mao didn't use, which makes it even more dangerous. And that is race. We've seen this 1,000 times, where the only people that are talking about racism are the people that are trying to profit from or gain attention or push their agendas forward using race. You don't see the people who don't care about racism ever talking about racism, because it's not a thing for us. We just don't care. We know how unimportant it really is. Whatever happened 230 years ago has nothing to do with me or you today. Absolutely nothing. As long as you understand that there are good people in the world and there are bad people in the world, and if it doesn't matter what color they are, because some are good and some are bad. It's that easy. The other thing that woke culture uses is gender. How many times have we heard about gender identity? And we're not talking about the crazy, crazy stuff that we're going on. Let's just start with the basic letters. LGBTQ. That's it. We're not even going to go plus. We're not even going to do any of that stuff, because as I understand it, there's actually like other letters added onto it now. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Somebody on Clapper actually said the alphabet generation. Absolutely 100%. And it's so convoluted. It's so convoluted. And there are so many crazy people attached to that agenda that just your regular gay people, specifically gay women, are now like, shut up, you're ruining my life. I just want to love somebody, you know? And they've taken it, and it in the same way that the Democrats. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that. I'm just going to say that it is an issue. It is being used, and it's something that we need to be aware of because it is so stupid now that even you have, and I can't believe I saw this the other day. I can't believe I saw this. Do me a favor, type the letter 2 in the comments if you saw where there was a protest where it was LGBTQ plus for Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Do me a favor, put the number 2 in the chat if you saw that, and I'm going to explain how ridiculous that is. I actually watched a video this morning, and I posted it inside the Discord where this guy, you know how it's like these informative videos, and if you saw it inside the Discord, do me a favor, type the number 3 because I'm kind of curious if people are using the Discord. And I posted up, and I used the everyone command, which basically makes everybody's phone explode. I said everyone needs to show this to everyone because it gets straight to the point. So this guy's walking around. I think it was on a college campus, and he was like, "Hey, do me a favor, could you sign this for me?" You know, it was a one of those. I can't remember the word I'm looking for here. Basically, you signed a piece of paper saying you're supporting something, right? It was a petition. He signed me a petition to support the Palestinians or to support Hamas in Palestine. And people are like, "Oh yeah," and they're ready to. They're all signed. When I say people, I mean young people, less than 30. Okay, and they were just ready. It's like, before I have you sign it, I need you to read the terms of agreement. And they're like, "Okay." So and then he starts reading them to them. It's like, do you agree that you agree that women can no longer be out in public without a man? That they can't show their shoulders, their face, or anything below the knees. And then the people started walking away. You agree, by signing this, you agree that the Palestinians have the right to kill all Jews on the planet. And they're like, "No, I'm not signing that." And it was just ridiculous that these people, this whole gender ideology could morph into the stupidity, the LGBTQ stupidity, that an organization like Hamas could actually be supported by an organization that knows, or unknowingly or ridiculously stupid knows, that they will actually kill all of you because you are not male on female, because you're not heterosexual. It absolutely blew my mind, because this is the level of stupidity, and this is how they use gender to separate us in wokeism. All right, so let that one sink in there for a little bit. All right. And then obviously sexuality, it's the same exact thing, the LBTT, alphabet, whatever, okay? And if you're gay, don't get me wrong, I don't care. Hey, whatever, you like kissing boys, whatever, I don't care. If you're a good person at the end of the day, that's all that matters to me, okay? Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and move on to something called the, well, I tell you what, if at this point, you have to realize that this is exactly what Maoism was, exactly the same as wokeism today. But today, wokeism is even more dangerous. Now, check this out. I want to talk to you guys about what they call the 4 olds. But before I do that, I'm going to go to the chat and I'm going to check the poll, because I asked a poll question and I've got 23 votes. I think that's more than enough for right now. Yeah, the question was, can we stop wokeism before it destroys America? Straight to the point, 35% said yes, we can do it. These are the optimism. I kissed a girl and I liked it. Well, good for you. Me too. I like girls too. And so the question was, can we stop wokeism before it destroys America? And 35% said yes. These are the optimists. Okay. I like to believe that in this particular case, it's more for me a hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. 65% in that poll said no, it can't be stopped. Okay. My gut says it can be. I disagree, but I do respect all of your opinions. Okay. So kind of, a poll of 23 people, you think that's small, but it's a snapshot. It's a microcosm of what is actually happening inside of our society, and there are people that actually believe that it cannot be stopped and are preparing because it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And it's not because it's a different ideology or mindset, but because you're literally like trying to tell me that the sky isn't blue and the grass isn't green. You know what I'm saying? That's what this ideology really means. So I'm going to go ahead and close that poll out so that it will clear up on you guys' screens. It should go away. Let's see here. Cool Colt says it just has to run its course, and I think it will. Very possible. Very possible. Let's see here. Now when Tina says now win elections at all costs. Tina, we got to get these people. We got to get people to freaking vote. You know what I'm saying? I actually believe that there was a lot of people that did not vote during this last primary. Or I'm sorry, actually, what was this? Midterms, I think. I actually think that there were a lot of people didn't vote because traditional conservative or / Republican voters like to vote at the polls. Okay. It's a thing for us. All right. But the way you win elections now is through mail-in ballots. Okay. So early voting is a real thing. Voting with a ballot, with a mail-in ballot, if it's legal in your state, is a thing. Okay. Now I'm not happy with it, but that's how our election system is working now. And we have to work with what we got. So you decide you don't want to do that, and then election day comes, and then oh my God, I got to work that day, or you know what I'm saying? Yes, I know you can get off of work for it, but you see my point, and then you don't vote, and then you're like, well, this isn't a presidential election, so it doesn't really matter. And then you find out that your state legislature just went blue when it just spent the last 4 years turning itself red. And did you do it? No, not just you, but the other 10 people that did the exact same thing that you did or failed to do, did it. It's a problem. We have to do more than just say we're going to do something. We actually have to do something. Let's see here. I didn't vote, but I'm sure the polls will show I did. Well, I don't know about that, Tefel. I don't know what that, Tefel. But if you didn't vote, shame on you, my friend. Shame on you. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is called the Four Olds. All right. And it's called, this is what they call the Four Olds are what they call Chinese style cancel culture. So what Mao did was he removed 4 things. His focus was to remove 4 things. All right. The first one was the old culture. All right. Is this starting to sound familiar, Americans? How culture is just changed. It's just, oh, we don't like the old ways. The new ways are better, and here's why. And none of it makes sense, but it's better because it's new. And so the first thing he did was get rid of the old ways of doing things. It could literally be anything, and it's going to link into the next 3 things. But the reality is that's exactly what he did. The next thing he did was he got rid of old ideas and he replaced them with new ideas. And those new ideas were the ideas from the youth. These great ideas that these people who don't even have fully developed brains, oh, they're so much smarter. Does this sound like how the left is using the young people to basically whitewash all the votes of the people who actually have the worldly experience? Does that sound familiar? Yeah, that's right. They're getting rid of the old ideas. And old ideas and old culture can be directly related to things like statues. Ooh, is that? Yeah. Or could be proving who you are at the voting booth or in-person voting. Does that sound familiar? They're getting rid of those things as rapidly as they can because then they can actually control what changes. The third thing was old habits. Well, let's see. If our habit is to vote and we can mail it in, well, we can change that habit. And then when we can change that habit, we can control it. And those habits could be anything. Those habits could be things like, I don't know, the evening family meal, getting rid of traditional family values. And the fourth thing was old customs. Things like Veterans Day, which is a national holiday that for some reason all of our kids were in school on. Yeah, I wonder how that happened. How were our kids in school on a national holiday? Yeah, and I looked it up, and it's all governmental. It all when you read the way they decide what day that's going to be, it's all very nice and neat and perfectly, cross the I's and dots the T's, and it all makes perfect sense. Except for it's a national holiday, and our kids should not be in school on a national holiday. Why would that be, guys? That's some tinfoil hat stuff right there, isn't it? You gotta love it. They get rid of our old customs. They basically get to they get to whitewash everything by getting rid of the old ways so that they can implement the new ways. And their goal is to replace the current belief system so that our young people honestly believe that things should be done a certain way that is newer than the old ways. Wow. Let's see here. Bird Lady said we got off from Juneteenth. Uh, you know, I don't bring up things like that. I'll be honest with you, because then it's the truth. It's the truth. The first thing when I found out, I was on vacation during Veterans Day. Okay. And we were driving and I saw these schools and buses and I was like, wait a minute, today's national holiday. What the hell is going on here? Yeah. And the first thing in my dumb little mind was, I bet there's no school on MLK Day. And it really sickens me because that I guarantee that there's no school on MLK Day, but MLK did great things for Americans. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Okay, let's see. Universities here traded Veterans Day for MLK Day on Monday. I got you. There's so many there's so many, and don't get me wrong, I'm not this old guy who just doesn't want anything to change. I am averse to change as long as it doesn't mean that we're now going to do something dumb that we used to do that was smart. you know so I'm black so I can bring it up. Blame. That's racist. Yeah, I know, but that's just it. I mean, it still bothers me because so many people had to do so many things to make so many positive things happen here in the United States. And we should not be whitewashing our history, regardless of the color of the skin of the person who did something. We should just be recognizing that they were good people doing good things. It's that easy. Tina says, I fear for us, but even more so for my children/grandchildren. Absolutely, Tina. When in 2008, when I decided to fully become I'm a prepper, I didn't care about myself. I cared about my kids. And then I started caring about my grandchildren. Guys, I have 15 grandchildren that I know of. What's up, batshit crazy? And I know it's like, what? And what about for them? I was very lucky that most of my grandchildren actually go to private schools. So what they're being taught can absolutely be controlled. Teachers are completely 100% accessible. They can't hide behind these boards that won't do anything to them. So I'm kind of lucky. But for most people out there, yeah, not so lucky. But you've got to just stay on your kids. If you sense that something's wrong, request a parent teacher meeting. Make that teacher explain what they're doing and say. Make them. It's that easy. If they ignore you, go higher. If they ignore you, go higher. If they ignore you, go higher. You do not let these people put the seeds of this foolishness in your kids' heads. It's ridiculous. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to my next slide. So basically, Maoism now equals Marxism, which now equals wokeism. The end result is don't worry about all the big stuff, just worry about wokeism. Now, what they're doing is they're presenting a beautiful world under new ideas, and that's why the kids like it so much. That's why the young people. That's why it's so easy to influence the younger people because they haven't tasted the real world yet. They only know their academic little world that they live in. We have a homeschool's a good idea, bro. We have there's a my girlfriend has a son who lives with us most of the week. He's in between mom and dad, that kind of thing. And he's extremely intelligent, extremely intelligent. He's probably, he reminds me a lot of the smart guy on Big Bang Theory, and but his view of the world is so focused. It's like the school has him on blinders. And when he hears me say something, he's like, that doesn't make sense to me. And then we have to have this conversation about how the real world is versus what he's learned in school. Now he's conflicted and he has to decide whether what he's being taught in school or what he's hearing from an adult, which one is right, and his brain is just not wrapping around it sometimes. A utopia for the obedient, but it's even scarier than that. It's even scarier than that because while this wokeism is presenting a beautiful world under new ideas, it's actually fooling the masses into slavery. You know what I'm saying? That's where the term sheeple comes from, just leading them to the slaughter. Oh, let's see here. So named, solid name. I don't recognize what that is. All right. So, and one of the ways that they did this was they kind of festered. They kind of like threw this out into the world, this idea out into the world, and then it kind of festered, and then it developed, and then it started doing bad things. But those bad things were good for what they wanted to accomplish. So they let him go. Now, let's see. What are we doing today? Back then we had the brown shirts. You guys have probably heard about the brown shirts. And we just briefly talked about the Red Guards, which were part of Maoism, okay? But here in America, we've got BLM. Yeah, that's turned out to be a total farce. And now that they know that now now that black people know that these people were doing nothing but scamming the world, where's BLM? It's just a chatterbox now, you know. We went through an entire summer where they didn't shut a city down. So I think that people are figuring that out. Who else did we have? Antifa. We had Antifa. Oh, we know Antifa's out there. Hell, they're all over Facebook telling us how proud they are in their skinny jeans and their black guns that they don't know how to use. But let's see. Let's not forget about the social justice warriors. Those people they're social justice warrior. What's up? What's up, all American prepper? Good to see you, bro. What happened to them? In every one of these cases, they were all indoctrinated. Okay, they were all indoctrinated. They just didn't wake up one morning and go, "Yeah, I really would like to see the world burn." That's not what they did. They were all indoctrinated. They were fed this sweet candy of Maoism, Marxism, and now wokeism that makes them feel comfortable and safe in their spaces. Well, what a lot of people don't know is that most of these true organizations that are like, I would rather die before changing the way I think, even though I know the way I think is not accepted, came from the elite class. They actually came from well-educated, some of the best universities, and that was the exact case with the Red Guards in China under Maoism. These people, they lived in the best cities, they had the best food, they had the best of everything. But as usual, they kind of went crazy. So let me read something to you here real quick. So the Red Guards were a mass student-led paramilitary school movement mobilized by Chairman Mao in 1966 until their abolishment in 1968. So he let him run wild for a couple years, doing some nefarious stuff because it fit his agenda. Okay? In the same way that now the left isn't really supporting, BLM because it doesn't fit their agenda anymore. Does that sound funny for black people in the stream? Does it sound funny that now that they've got what they wanted out of you, they're just not giving you any more play? Does that sound familiar? Yeah, I think so. He did this during the first phase of the Cultural Revolution, which he instituted. According to a Red Guard leader, the movement's aims were as follows. This was the aims of the Red Guard. Chairman Mao has defined our future as an armed revolutionary youth organization. So if Chairman Mao is our Red Commander-in-Chief and we are his Red Guard, who can stop us? First, we will make China Maoist from inside out, and then we will give help, and then we will help the working people of other countries make the world red, and then the whole universe. That sounds like wokeism, guys. That sounds like wokeism. They actually broke, we talked about the two categories. They broke them into the red class and the black class, okay? The 5 red categories during the Chinese Cultural Revolution were the social classes favored by the favored by the Chinese Communist Party. The CCP that still exists, and opposed the 5 black categories. So here are the 5 red categories. Okay, these categories of people were the poor and the middle peasants. So who do we target? Who do these bad politicians target every time they want some kind of vote? The poor. The workers. Now, the workers in China back then were completely different because they were kind of loyal to their companies. They had worker values, things of that nation. But we're still seeing this. What do we got? We got the ACL, not the ACLU, but the unions have been acting up in the last, 6 months. Taking down all automobiles, getting rid of all your TV shows. Does this sound familiar? The revolutionary soldiers, the revolutionary cadres, and the revolutionary martyrs. Gee, this sounds like BLM. This sounds like Antifa. So yeah, those things are happening. So, and who were the 5 black categories? And remember, this was red, black, not black on white or whatever. This was the 5 black categories, which were bad. These are bad people, okay, according to Maoism, according to the Red Guard. And these people were landlords. Do you remember what happened? Do you remember what happened where the government said you can't kick anybody out of your property? You remember that? The rich farmers. Those rich farmers are making way too much money, even though all of their money goes to survival and keeping their farms running. Do you guys remember that? You remember how all these other countries out here are like saying, you can't use fertilizers anymore, and attacking the farmers. What do we got here? The counter-revolutionaries. You mean the people that don't want there to be a revolution? They want stability? Yeah, these people were deemed as bad. Let's see. The bad influencers. Anyway, and of course, the right-wingers. They actually had a word for this back then, the right-wingers. UPI. If I'm probably saying that completely wrong. YOUPAI, okay? With a little hyphen on the A. It's ridiculous. And that's what they did. Now, here's what the Red Guard really did, okay? This is how the Red Guard actually started. And this is something that would be difficult to do here in America because of the Second Amendment, but we're already seeing some of the not necessarily radicalization, but we're starting to see where there could be a time when something happened very similar to this that could spark something that is really, really bad. So what happened? So the Red Guard incident, all right? So believe it or not, the Red Guard incident was young girls from the very most prestigious middle school in Beijing. Young girls, middle school, Beijing. Okay? Rich girls in their middle school in Beijing started the Red Guard. let that wrap around in their little head. Talk about indoctrination and foolishness and allowing people to make worldly decisions who aren't even out of their pampers yet. They beat, tortured, and killed their principal. Let me say this again. Young girls from a prestigious middle school in Beijing beat, tortured, and killed their principal. Yeah, that's how the Red Guard started in China. Mao let it happen afterwards. After he saw that they couldn't, no one ever would ever go after these girls, he let it happen. Nothing. There were absolutely no consequences for what these girls did. And then after that switch is turned in a country, once something like that happens, these people start to believe that they can do everything that they want to do. And that, because nothing happened to these girls, because there was no consequence, killing for the Red Guard became commonplace. Let's see. Then they were told to go after their teachers that didn't follow Maoism. So think about it from our perspective here in America, where our kids are being indoctrinated in the schools, and people who don't agree with something get jumped. Geez, something like that happening right now? Wait, last week, wasn't there just a group of people that were bullying this other kid? And I think they wanted, at first it was his shoes, but then it turned out to be like his game pod and something else, or his hat or something trivial. And another boy stepped in. Well, they couldn't have that. What happened? They beat him to death. Thank God, at least 8 of them that I know of have been charged with murder. What happens after that, I don't know, but something's going to happen. So these things are happening, and they are relatable. And the last thing that happened under Maoism was that the police and the justice system were dismantled. Can you see how, well, let's defund the police? Does that make any sense? Does that ring any bells? If you can see any similarities between what I'm talking about and wokeism and what is happening in the world today, I want you to type the letter A in the chat. Please do it now and wake this thing up one more time before I have to get out of here. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to check the chat real quick while you guys are doing that. Let's see here. Don't underestimate Antifa. They have been organizing and training and look like they are doing really good with their training. Window liquor. Absolutely. Yeah. You never underestimate your enemy. You know, when they first stepped onto the scene, onto the scenes, it was like, whatever, dude, you know, I'm not scared of your purple hair and your nose ring. And now they have been very quiet, which can make them very dangerous. But I also think that society is not accepting what they want to do, I won't even say what they want to do, because I think that they actually believe that their whole anarchy idea would work. The problem is that it doesn't work. It never has. It never will. And I understand the tenets of basic anarchism. I truly do. But they're kind of utopian. And we all know that utopian societies don't exist because they don't work. Because sooner or later, somebody wants more than they need, or somebody wants something that the other person has. And then utopia, boop, that bubble pops really, really fast. Okay, let's see. Double change of plans. I don't have time to set traps. Then you need to set your priorities, young man. Okay, so looks like I've been able to make this last about 1 hour. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off for now. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. As usual, if you like what I'm doing, hit that like, subscribe, push those buttons, whichever platform you're on. If you really like what I'm doing, there's links someplace. Find those links, buy yourself some stuff. I'll make 32 cents if you spend $1,000. I'm really getting rich on this stuff. In fact, I haven't had an Amazon purchase in 2 weeks. So if you think you're using my links, you're not. Get your shit together. All right, guys. Until the next time, stay safe. Have a great day, and I shall see you when I see you. Thanks for hanging out. And oh, wait, admin note: no live stream tomorrow, guys. I'm going to be selfish tomorrow. Okay, no live stream, and here's why. If you didn't know this, and if you didn't know this about me, I'm a big I follow space and SpaceX. I love these things. Okay, and SpaceX is going to launch the Starship tomorrow during the time we have this live stream, and I want to be able to commit my full popcorny, waiting for it to explode time on that. So you guys will not see me again until Monday. All right, guys, stay safe. Have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you. Second time works every time. Bye-bye.